Welcome to my part 3 video on fraction, decimal, and percent conversions. So today we're going to look at fraction to percent conversions. So the easiest way to do that is to change it to a decimal and then change your decimal to a percent. Okay, so let's look at the first one. And in our previous instruction, we looked at trying to make it a friendly fraction if we can, but if we can't, we're going to do long division. So for this one, we're going to have to do long division because it's not a friendly fraction. So we're going to do top dog inside, bottom dog outside. Okay, can 6 go into 5? No, it can't. So it goes in 0 times. 0 times 6 is 0. We're going to subtract 5 minus 0 is 5. Now we have nothing to bring down, so we're going to drop in a decimal, and a decimal allows us to bring in unlimited zeros. So I'm going to place 3 zeros there. So we're going to bring down that 0. 6 goes into 50 8 times. 8 times 6 is 48. Now I'm going to subtract. 50 minus 48 is 2. I'm going to bring down another 0. 6 goes into 20 3 times. 3 times 6 is 18. We're going to subtract 20 minus 18 is 2. And we're going to bring down another 0. 6 goes into 20 3 times, and you notice now we have something that's repeating. Okay? And so we're going to write down 1.833. Now notice I did not put the repeating sign over because I'm not changing it or keep leaving my final answer as a decimal. I'm changing it to a percent. So I'm going to leave that there. And so we're going to move it 2 to the right. So this is 83.3%. But remember, the 3 was repeating, so I'm going to write it like this. And I'm going to put a repeating sign over that 3. Whoops. Let me start over again. It's going to be 183.3 repeating percent. Okay, so that's what I do when I have a repeating percent. I just move it 2 to the right and put a bar over that last 3 that's repeating. Okay, so I got to remember to do that when I have something that's repeating. That's why it's helpful to do 3 numbers, and then you'll remember to put that 3 after the decimal. Okay, 8/25. Now I notice I could do top dog inside, bottom dog outside, but I notice it's a friendly fraction. And I know 25 can be changed into hundredths by multiplying top and bottom by 4. So I'm going to get 32 hundredths. And I know that 32 hundredths is 0.32. And I can change that to a percent, which is 32%. Now, I know what some of you are probably thinking. Couldn't I take 32 hundredths and percents out of 100 and just write 32? Absolutely. Okay. If you know that 32 hundredths is just 32%, then you could skip this step here. Okay. All right, and let's go. We just went from fraction to percent. Now we're going to go percent back to fraction. So let's look at a couple of examples. Okay, our rules say change to a decimal, then change to a fraction and simplify if you can. Okay, so 108%, there is no decimal, so I'm going to start here. We're going to go backwards, 1, 2. So the decimal is 1.08 or 1 and 8 hundredths. So now I'm going to write 1 and 8 hundredths. But I know that 8 and 100 are both even numbers. So I could try 2. But I know that 4 goes into 8. And so now I need to see if 4 goes into 100, and it does. So I'm going to divide top and bottom by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And 100 divided by 4 think of quarters, 25. Okay, but what did I forget to do here? This was 1 in 800, so I got to put the 1 back in front. So I now have a mixed number. So 1 and 2 25ths. Okay, let's look at another example. So we had 35%, so I don't have a decimal, so I'm going to start at the end and move it backwards too. So this is 35 hundredths, so I'm going to write the fraction, 35 hundredths. But I notice that that can be simplified. And my divisibility rule for 5 says if they end in a 5 and a 0, I can divide by 5. So I'm going to do that. 35 divided by 5 is 7. And 100 divided by 5 is 20. So my answer is 7/20. Go ahead and write that on the line. And that's all there is to it. So that concludes my part 3 video on fraction, decimal, and percent conversions. I hope you have a great day.